Hey, it's Ashley, and welcome back to the Soulshine Podcast. I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that every single one of us deals with, whether you're trying to get healthier, trying to be a more honest version of yourself, or maybe you're in a season like me and you're trying to build a business. So, with that being said, let me just ask you something and try not to overthink it. Have you ever tried to make a positive change in your life and suddenly felt weirdly self conscious about it? I know I have. It feels like you're being watched, like people are forming opinions about you. And guys, this is such a human thing. We all feel it. Even if no one says a word, you can feel the eyes are on you and you can feel the energy shifting in the room when you're showing up differently. And here's the part we don't talk enough about. That feeling alone is enough to make most people stop because we get caught up in all the what ifs and we get caught up in what other people are thinking. And that isolates us in our thoughts and it makes us become so insecure that we stop. We bring ourselves into a situation where we feel alone and unsupported and we stop. Not because we don't want to change, but because we don't want the judgment. And I get it. I really do. I'm making some changes in my own life right now, and I'm showing up a little bit more. I'm putting myself out there. I'm trying new things. And that has made me more aware of how people might be perceiving me. Not in a conceited way, like a look at me way, but more like, oh gosh, I hope this doesn't look weird kind of way. And maybe you have felt that too. Maybe you're trying to take better care of yourself, or you're trying to set boundaries, or you're trying to build something like a business, a habit, or a new identity. And suddenly you're like, wow, why does this feel so awkward? Why does it feel like people are judging me for trying to grow? And here's the truth: growth is uncomfortable because it exposes you. It stretches you. It asks you to step out of the version of yourself that everyone is used to. And people don't always know what to do with that. They don't. But here's the part that matters: you're not growing for them, you are growing for you. And that brings me to the next thing I want to talk about because I am so passionate about this book. But I'm reading for the second time The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins and her daughter Sawyer. And the first time reading this book, I was just starting Soulshine, and I really learned a lot through this book. However, revisiting it, I've realized I'm in a different place, and there's some things I didn't apply to my life and my situation from the first time around that I would really like to apply now. And I'm currently in chapter 5. And guys, when I say wow, this chapter has basically been one big permission slip for me because she says, let them think whatever they want. And when I read that, something inside of me clicked because she's right. People are going to think things anyway, whether you're doing something new or you're not. People are always going to be thinking. They're already doing it. You can't stop it. You can't control it. But you can keep going. And that's the part that I want you to take with you today is the going, the continuing, the becoming. Because while people are thinking, you're becoming someone stronger. And here's the thing. there isn't, you don't have to pretend like you don't care. It's not about that. It's not about feeling tough or fearless. This is about recognizing that other people's thoughts are not your responsibility. You and you alone are responsible for your growth. You're responsible for your peace, and you're responsible for your next step. And listen, I'm not saying this from a place of I've mastered it, because I have it, but I am saying it from a place of learning in myself. I'm in this season too, and I'm in the middle of things that are making me feel very uncomfortable. But here's what I've realized, and maybe this will land for you too. Most people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. And the ones who are, they're usually the ones not doing anything themselves. People who are growing don't judge growth. People who are healing don't judge healing. And people who are trying don't judge trying. So if someone has said something to you about your progress, your pace, your choices, let them. Let them misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're moving too slow or too fast or too boldly or not boldly enough. Because while they're thinking, you're becoming. And becoming is the whole point, right? And here's something else I want you to hear. You don't need to rush. You don't need to play catch up. And you don't have anything to prove to anybody. You're allowed to grow at a pace that feels good in your season and your life. You're allowed to take small steps. You're allowed to change your mind. And this one is huge because I have often been told, like, tame it down, but you're allowed to shine loudly. Like, be your true self. By nature, I'm loud and I like to shine. So if you're like me, you're allowed to be that way. Don't feel ashamed for being who you are and what you want. You are allowed to be a work in progress. And you're allowed to do all of that without explaining yourself to anybody. So if you're listening right now and you've been holding yourself back because you're worried about what other people might think, this is your reminder to breathe. Take a step back. You don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. Let them think what they want. Let them misunderstand your journey, because while they're thinking, you're becoming. And becoming is the whole point, right? Yes, becoming is the whole point. So before I let you go, I want to say this. I am so proud of you. Not because you're perfect, not because you have it all together. I'm proud of you because you're trying and you're showing up and you're choosing growth, even if it feels uncomfortable. And you're choosing yourself when it feels unfamiliar. That matters. It matters more than you know. So, wherever you are right now, whether you're driving, walking, cleaning, sitting in your car before work, I hope that you can feel this and know and understand that you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to shine and be loud. And you are allowed to do all of those things at your own pace. So before I wrap things up, if you haven't read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins and her daughter Sawyer, please go out, buy the book, rent it at the library, whatever it is. It's an awesome read. It's very educational. It's very inspiring. Like I said, this is my second time reading it through. It will always be on my bookshelf to reference to. So, once again, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for allowing me to be a small part of your journey. And if this podcast spoke to you today, please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I am truly trying to get this podcast to grow and just to reach other people. So, again, thank you for being here. And remember, you don't need approval to shine, guys. You do not need approval to shine. You just need to have courage to keep going. So, thank you for being here. And until we meet again, namaste.